I started being interested in aerobatics very early in my flying career, back in the 1960s, I guess. Yeah, in the 1960s, I got a private pilot's license, and the first type rating I got after the pilot's license was a Tiger Moth rating, and I then wanted to do some aerobatics, and the chief flying instructor said to me, "Oh, you can work it out, just head off, and when you get some problems, let me know about it." So I went out, and loops were fairly easy, and stall turns were moderately exciting. Barrel turns were terrifying because I used to get upside down, and stupidly, instead of continuing the roll, I would pull through and end up almost max speeding this poor Tiger Moth, until I had a friend come up with me one day and show me how to do it. From then on, it was all downhill, and I continued from there. I became a flying instructor in a flying school that operated what were they? Bolkov Junior, Messerschmitt Bolkov Junior 208s, and which were moderately aerobatic in positive sense only, and had a lovely rate of roll and was a really nice instrument to fly and do that sort of stuff. So we did all that, and then subsequently I ended up in Australia because there were no flying jobs in New Zealand, and as an air traffic controller, and I met a very interesting gentleman by the name of Guido Zuccoli. Guido was an incredibly generous person with unlimited resources of money, and he operated a number of aircraft, and Joyce and I owned aircraft as well. We had an Oster and a Tiger Moth, and so I shared my aeroplanes with Guido, and he shared his with me, and he had a Chipmunk and an Aztec, which I did his company flying in. And then he just said to me one day, "I'm going to buy a Pitts Special, what do you think?" I said, "It's a brilliant idea." So he bought an S2A, similar to LDJ, but an earlier version, and we then decided that we would teach each other advanced aerobatics. So we went out and proceeded to fly around the sky and fall out of all kinds of things, and slowly got better and better, and competed in the Australian National Aerobatic Championships, and ultimately he went away to the same aerobatic competition that Pam Collins went to. That was in Kiev in 1976, and I got selected for the Australian team in 1978 to go to Česká Budějovice in Czechoslovakia. It meant I had to become an Australian citizen, and as I was about to come back to New Zealand, I didn't really want to do that. So I contacted the New Zealand Aero Club organisation and said, could I represent New Zealand? And they said yes, as long as we don't have to pay any money. And so I said, well, why not? So I put together a package. I raised quite a bit of money for the Australian team, so they sponsored my flying, and I flew Guido's Pitts, which he sent to Europe. And we went to Austria, Trausdorf, practiced, had a load of laughs and a lot of fun, and I had the most exciting time of my aviation life competing in the World Aerobatic Championships. We were outgunned, out-experienced and outsmarted, but we all did fairly well. I think I remember I got 36th out of a field of 70-something, so I didn't embarrass myself too much, and at least I didn't come last. But it was just so amazing to be around all those famous names, famous American pilots like Kermit Weeks and people like that, and to be accepted by them as part of the aerobatic fraternity. And when I returned to New Zealand in 1979, I was contacted by Merv Meredith, and we discussed the idea of forming a New Zealand Aerobatic Club, because he wanted to get into advanced aerobatics and use the Aresti system rather than the very ordinary amateurish sort of thing that the New Zealand Aero Club were doing at that stage, which was fair enough. That's all they knew and that's all they could do, but there was far bigger and better things to do than that. So we got into it and attracted a number of other people, and finally had the New Zealand Aerobatic Club up and running, and here it is today, still going, which is very exciting for me to be here, and it's been lovely to go for another fly in the Pitts, so thank you.